Yo, what's up? Oh, it's Yujin Tang today, or in this episode, this video, whatever. I'm going to show you guys how classes work in Python. So it's pretty simple. We declare a class with a class keyword, and then we give it a name with, it starts with an uppercase by convention. And if we want to declare a class property or variable or whatever, we'll just do that here. So dimensions equals 2, so our shape has 2 dimensions, right? And then we can also declare a constructor. This is called a constructor in Java. And Python it's called an initializer or something like that. The point is, this is what's called when you initialize a class. So let's give it sides. Self.sides equals sides, and that's all that this really does. So let's just take a look at what happens when we create a class of type shape. So s equals shape 3, and then let's print out the s.sides and print s.dimensions. Right, so there you go. We got a class with 3 sides and 2 dimensions. So now what happens if we add a let's add a validator class. So let's do def validator self, which basically all this should do is assert that self.sides is greater than 2. You can't have a self.sides is greater than 2. You can't have a shape with 2 sides, right? So let's see what happens if I do shape 2. Oh, that's not right. I forgot I have to call this validator. If you don't call it, shape doesn't use it. It's kind of useless. So, okay. There we get an assertion error, right? So now let's see what happens if we want to. So this is it. This is like the object of a shape. All we did here was, here declare a function, declare a class function, I guess, class method, whatever. All we did here was basically say, all right, we got a class called shape. Every single shape is going to be 2 dimensions. And when we initialize our shape, we can pass in the number of sides. And then we created a validator function to validate that our shape is a valid shape. And after we pass the number of sides, we're going to call our validator function to validate that our shape is a valid shape. So now let's create a class that extends shape. So an extension of a class that extends another class is just it's like a subclass, and subclasses have more properties that they're more specific class. So I'll just show you an example so it makes sense, right? So class triangle. A triangle is a specific shape, so we can extend the shape class with our triangle class, okay? And what this will do is this will initialize every single triangle with the dimensions of 2 without even us having to do anything. Unfortunately, triangles need more than just the sides to create a triangle, so let's create a constructor. Triangle constructor. A, B, C. So here what we're going to do is we're going to call super, which calls the super class of the subclass. So the triangle is the subclass, the shape is the superclass. And what we're calling here is the super init function with shape, right? So with sides, sorry, right? So triangles all have 3 sides. So we initialize a shape with 3 sides to a triangle. And then we'll just do self.a equals A, self.b equals B, self.c equals C, okay? So this is, essentially a triangle. And let's just, let's make a triangle. So t equals triangle 1, 2, 3. And let's just print t.dimensions, print t.sides, just to make sure that it works as expected, right? 2 dimensions, 3 sides. Okay. Now let's also add a validator function to this. So let's do super dot. Oh no, because we don't have to validate this because it's already when we call this super.init function, it already passes this validator. It's already asserted there's more than 2 sides. Okay. So what we're going to do here is let's create a private function. Private function to class. And a private function is a function that is private to this class. that means that we won't be able to call it outside the class. So let's call it validate. So here we'll assert that self.a is plus self.b is greater than self.c, right? So basically what we're trying to check out here is that our triangle is not degenerate. Self.c is greater than self.b, and assert self.b plus self.c is greater than self.a. This just is making sure that if you add any two sides, they're greater than the third side, right? So now after that, we're gonna call in here, and let's see what happens here. Oh, we get an assertion error, right? Because 1, 2, 3 is a degenerate triangle. We can't have a triangle with sides 1, 2, and 3. But what about 2, 2, and 3, right? So we can do that. So, once again, we get our sides, we get our dimensions, and now let's check something. Let's just make sure that we can't call the validate function. T.validate. And there it is. You can't see it because we can't call it, right? So that's really all there is to classes. Classes are just custom objects, and they have an initializer method, a method that you can call. You can actually call the shape validator on. I believe we can just call validate t.validator, and triangle object has no. Oh, whoops! I called validate. Haha, validator. There we go. And it doesn't do anything because it's just asserting the self.size is greater than 2. So yeah, so that's all there really is to it. This is a function that's like a public function. If you're coming from Java, it's like public. And then this is a private function. If you're coming from Java, this is, or I think C is like this as well. It's just a private method. And that's really all there is to classes. You can extend classes like this with the parentheses, and you construct them with the init function, and make sure you pass self to all of the functions in there so that it operates on the class itself. All right, cool. I'm pretty sure that's all you need to know to get started with classes. And if you have any comments, please drop them in the comments below, and there's going to be a blog post with this as well. And if so, if you learn better from reading, maybe go check that out. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.